I have a question for you to think about. Is playing video games good for you? I'll let you think about that for a few seconds. If you're like my son, you probably were told as a child to stop playing video games and go outside and have some fun with your friends. I would imagine the answer to that question is yes for quite a few of you, especially for the guys in the crowd. I'm going to tell you that it's perfectly fine to play video games. In fact, you should play video games. You just need to play them in moderation. I recently read a research article done by Yale University titled, "Could Playing Video Games for 5 minutes Make Second Graders Perform Better in Math Class?" Their findings might surprise you. Their answer was simply yes. Many other scientists and psychologists find video games can have many benefits. The main one is making kids smarter. University of Wisconsin psychologist C. Sean Green said, "Playing video games changes the brain's physical structure the same way as does learning to read, playing the piano, or navigating using the map. Much like exercise can build muscles, the powerful combination of concentration and rewarding surges of neurotransmitters like dopamines strengthen neural circuits that can build the brain." University of Rochester cognitive researcher Daphne Bavilar talks about how video games can help us learn. Quick thinking, making fast analysis and decisions. Games simulating stressful events such as those found in battle or action games can be a training tool for real-world situations. Accuracy. Action games, according to the study of University of Rochester, train the player's brain to make faster decisions without losing accuracy. Strategy and anticipation. The gamers must deal with immediate problems while keeping his long-term goals on his horizon. Situational awareness. Many strategy games also require the player to become mindful of sudden situational changes in the game and adapt accordingly. Develop reading and math skills. The younger gamer reads to get instructions, follows storylines of the games, and gets information from gaming text. Also, using math skills is important to win in many games that involves quantitative analysis like managing resources. Perseverance. In higher levels of some games, a player usually fails the first time around, but he keeps on trying until he succeeds and moves on to the next level. Pattern recognition. Games have an internal logic in them, and the player figures it out by recognizing the patterns. Estimating skills. Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Inductive reasoning and hypothesis testing. James Paul Gee, professor of education at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, says that playing video games is like working through a science problem. Mapping. The gamers use in-game maps or builds maps in his head to navigate around the virtual world. Memory. According to a study published by Psychology Research, players playing first-person shooter games such as Call of Duty enables the player to effectively judge what information should be stored in his working memory and what can be discarded and considered as task at hand. Concentration. A study conducted by Appalachian Educational Laboratories revealed that children with attention deficit disorder who played Dance Revolution improved their reading score by helping them concentrate. Improved ability to rapidly and accurately recognize visual information. People who play video games on a regular basis are better at registering visual data and therefore quickly visual learners. They attain reasoned judgment. Taking risk. Winning any game involves a player's courage to take risks. Most games do not reward players who play safely. Teamwork and cooperation when playing with others. Many multiplayer games involve cooperation with online players in order to win. These games encourage players to make the most of their individual skills to contribute to the team. Management. Simulation games teaches players to make management decisions and manage the effective use of finite resources. Simulation and real-world skills. The most well-known simulations are flight simulators, which attempt to mimic the reality of flying a plane. All of the controls, including airspeed, wing angles, altimeter, and so on, are displayed for the player, as well as visual representation of the world and are updated in real time. They are also taught how to respond to challenges, how to respond to frustrations, and how to explore and rethink goals. A report published in January's issue of American Psychologist points out that shooter games, where split-second decisions making the attention to rapid change is necessary, can improve cognitive performance, while all genres of video games enhance problem-solving skills. And despite the belief that social isolation activities, one survey found that more than 70% of the people who play video games do so with a friend, either cooperatively or competitively. According to the study in 2013 from the University of Iowa, playing brain-teasing games just for 2 hours a week may help slow the degree of mental decay associated with the natural aging process. So, video games are even good for us old folks. Video games are a wonderful teaching tool, says Brad Bushman, professor of communication psychology at the Ohio State University. Computer scientists from University of California, San Diego, recently revealed that children ages 8 to 12 who played video games that they developed that teaches how to code for either 4 hours over 4 weeks or 10 hours over 7 days were successfully able to write code by hand in Java. When your child plays video games, it gives his or her brain a real workout. In many video games, the skills required to win involves abstract and high-level thinking. These skills are not even taught at schools. Here are some of the positive effects video games have on children. Video game teaches them how to follow instructions. Video games teaches them problem solving and logic. Video games help to increase hand-eye coordination and fine motor skills. Planning and resource management and logistics skills are gained. Children learn to multitask by simultaneously tracking many shifting variables and managing multiple objects. Video game increases your kid's self-confidence and self-esteem as he masters games. Video game gives your child a feeling of happiness or well-balance, which is a human psychological need. Games that involve multiple player encourages your child to work cooperatively to achieve his goal. Your kid learns to listen to the idea of others. Video games may improve eyesight. Studies have shown that video game players have better than average eyesight. And finally, video games help children with dyslexia read faster and with better accuracy, according to the study by the Journal of Current Biology. Video games may be frowned upon by some parents as time wasters, or worse, some education experts think that these games corrupt the brain. They say playing violent video games are easily blamed by the media and some experts as the reason why some young people become violent or commit extreme antisocial behavior. I believe I have provided you with all the information you need to know that video games are good for you. When you play or your child plays video games, it gives his or her brain a real workout. Video games are a wonderful teaching tool that gives us skills we can use in our lives. It's now up to you to go out there, play some video games, have some fun, and learn.